What's going on, people? So make sure this YouTube thing pops up. I mean, it usually does, but it just kind of takes a minute, I guess. Yeah, maybe I'll just trust that it'll happen. Anyway, so box of shoes here, right? Some white cement floor should be in here. We'll see how that plays out in a moment here. Hopefully that's the case. So these are not for me. It's gonna be, a whole size too small, actually. But the thing is, I got the early access thing through, what's that, Finish Line? Yeah, through Finish Line, right? And I honestly, like, I had nothing against these or whatever, but I did not care to have them, right? It's just not really a thing for me. So a coworker, he was like all looking forward to them. And so when I saw the thing pop up, I was like, oh, well, I'll just get these for him then, you know? I mean, obviously, he's going to pay me back. I'm not just buying shoes of this price for no reason, right? So that's what happened there. I got them today, right? Because I've been out of town a little bit, doing that whole half marathon thing I was talking about. So now I got these, picked them up and whatnot, and so I'm gonna see what these things look like, and probably tomorrow I'll record some like real review of sorts, minus the on feet portion, of course. But yeah, so I saw them, like years ago, and I guess around the time I don't remember when that was, but I remember seeing them before, so I kind of knew what they looked like. And I just thought, I'll be good. But anyway, so we're gonna do some kind of review. I was just looking at these and make sure they look okay. They seemed like they moved pretty quickly as far as like availability went and stuff. So hopefully everyone who cared to have them was able to make that happen for a pretty crazy price, in my personal opinion. Whatever. This right here, Air Jordan 4 Retro in the white cement colorway for 2025, right? I don't remember what other years they came out. I don't really follow a lot of that stuff personally. It's just not my thing. So we're just going to talk about what we have here. No comparisons or anything like that because, I got nothing to bring up. So we'll start with the bottom. Down there, bottom, right? That's what those look like. Pretty simple, right? No complaints about it. Matches up pretty fine with color up here. Up here, looking from the side and all that good stuff. Midsole, you got a nice little air unit thing going on back there, which is cool. A little bit of that elephant print above it. I don't know if it's like any more air units or anything in the front or whatever. I have like two pairs of Jordan 4s, and I've probably worn each pair like once in the last like 6 years or something like that. It's not a lot. Well, no, I forget. I have that black and yellow pair now, the Thunders, and I wore those once. So there's also that. Anyway, so across the top, right? Upper wise and all that stuff. I don't know if it's just me or whatever, but parts of these aren't feeling like they're anything amazing as far as like overall leather quality goes. That good stuff, right? No complaints or anything. It just feels like down here, just feels a little plasticky. It is what it is. But it's nice. So it looks pretty good in my opinion. I don't always like that really tumbled look. This doesn't have that, so I'm a fan. Moving back a little bit, same sort of thing as you go on. The only real thing where it switches up or whatever being you got that little strap thing with like the elephant print on there and those little black pieces holding down the laces. You got one of those on the inside too, right? Not quite focusing so great, but hey, it is what it is. And then on the very back, you also have that same thing, right? So that's the Nike Air. I do think it makes for like a really cool look. That's a great part and whatever. And I don't know, maybe if the shoes weren't white themselves, like I'd consider like, getting a pair for myself. But I'm just a big white shoe kind of guy. Anyway, so that's what's going on back there. And this is actually a little flimsier than I thought it might be. Thought it was going to be kind of stiff, but it's not. So let's go jump back over to the front here. So behind there, you got this plastic sort of netting type thing going on over the tongue, which is the same thing you had on the side and whatnot, right? Typical white laces. And that netting stuff you can kind of see back there goes all the way up there until you get to the top, then it's back to the leather. Now I was looking at this a second ago because it looked like there was some red tints in there as if there was some color bleeding or something going on. But I don't know. Maybe that's just like an intentional look to what's happening here. But that's the thing that I noticed, and I don't really like it personally, but it's not super noticeable unless you're like looking directly at it, right? So either way, red jump man got flight kind of in there and some sort of cursive type of thing, right? Backside, you have Air Jordan. That's not quite showing, but you get what I'm saying. But then as far as the downs on the inside goes, you can't. There it is, Nike Air in black and red, right? And then the big thick cushioning around the side. So all in all, pretty decent visual. It's just not a look for me, right? Let's see. Somebody says they wish they made a black nubuck pair with gray cement. That would look dope. I mean, let's see. Let's put this on the thing here so everybody else can know what I'm talking about. Because I don't know if this stuff shows up when, like, if you were to watch this later. You know, I would be okay with that, right? I mean, even if it was, no, maybe if it was this, if it was like gray, and then you'd have to change this, because then it'd be like too much gray, you know. So maybe if that was like black with gray spots, if this overall thing was gray, and then this piece was like black, but so inverted, So maybe that'd be fine too. But again, like I've seen other like cement releases of whatever they were, and I have no complaints. Again, it's just I don't really get into white shoes like that, but I can't really complain about the way these look or anything. And if this was a long time ago, who knows? Maybe I would have considered buying these anyway because I would have had fewer shoes then, and so it would have been like, yeah, sure, whatever. But at this point, I have a decent number. Don't ask what the number is because I don't know. But now it's just kind of like I try to be a little bit more selective. I know it doesn't really show what I'm buying shoes and whatever because at least those are all for functional reasons, so I can wear those all the time. I do. But stuff like this, like Jordan type things, yeah, I don't do a lot of that. So I try not to buy a lot of that. They just pile up to be worn irregularly. But anyway, so back to these, right? Personal opinion, like I was kind of alluding to, these look really nice. I got no complaints about them, none whatsoever. Even like the quality control seems to have been like really good on these. I thought there was a slight issue with this one, but it's really just some debris from the inside of the box or something, like some cardboard or whatever. So yeah, everything's looking pretty all right. I just kind of wish they would have been cheaper, but they're not for me. So what's it even matter? One thing I will say about sizing though, the ones I bought true to size, but I've heard that Jordan 4s can be a little erratic with the sizing, and that not every one of them is the same. So if this is the thing that you're thinking about, I know McFly picked up a pair. I don't know if it was for him. I just know he did a review. But I would suggest like E Money shoes. He buys a lot of Jordan 4s. Also, McFly, like I just mentioned, he was talking about these recently. So those would be my suggestions. But I mean, obviously, as you know, here on the internet, there's a lot of people doing a lot of the same stuff. So you can find a Jordan 4 review anywhere because this was a pretty popular release, right? So one last thing I'll point out down there, like right on the top of the, that's not quite focusing, but either way, right about here, there's going to be this like little notch thing, right? You can kind of see that down in there. So sometimes people ask about those on various other shoes. I know it's a thing that's come up on like 12s and stuff. So there is a little bit of a little point there, which looking at that, now that I see that and can't unsee it, I don't like that. Not even a little bit. It just throws everything off. Like maybe there's a reason, but I would rather just be just smooth all around without this little peak at the top. But whatever, it's me. It's just minor little things that I don't care for. But I'm sure anybody buying these has some other ties to them, and some nostalgia reasons perhaps. But anyway, so I guess that's going to be it for me, right? I don't have anything else to say. And since I didn't really cover anything else outside of this in the video, I'm going to go wrap things up real quick, though. If anybody's watching this and has any questions you want to throw my way, you got a little bit of time to do that, so you can type them up, and I'll answer them in the order in which I see them, unless they're stupid, in which case I will largely just ignore them. No offense, but it's a thing, right? Anyway, so that being that, I'm going to start closing this video on out, and if you got something, get to typing. For me, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I don't have any shoes coming in. Well, I have a pair of Final 32s that will be shipping at some point in June. Otherwise, I don't have anything coming up to talk about. I got a little half marathon recap of some sort. I recorded that last night, but that's just like a little vertical video just to, oh no, yeah, vertical video just to like talk about some stuff, nothing serious. Most people don't really watch them anyway. And I have a pro wrestling crate and an Alex Ross crate to open up. And most people don't watch those either. So nothing really of value coming around here anytime soon. So if things start to look a little like abandoned, that's why. But all right, so there's gonna be that, and I don't see anything in the chat thing, which is fantastic because that means I get to move on about my day. So thanks for anyone who stopped in, watched this for whatever period of time, listening and all that good stuff. I do appreciate it, even though I don't always say it. I try to, but I don't always make that happen. So I say it now. Thank you very much. And now I'm moving on with my day, and I suggest you move on with yours because this is about to be a very blank screen. Later, people.